Welcome back, college football and black and gold fans, to the Touchdown Black and Gold Vlog, the channel that was created for the college football fan, by the college football fan, the only channel where we examine, discuss, celebrate, and honor all things college football across the entire college football landscape. If you've been searching the wilderness for a safe haven, a place to gather and to vent, express your opinions and your love and affection for all things college football, congratulations, welcome home. You found it here on the Touchdown Black and Gold Vlog. I'm your usual host, Blair Parks, and it's great to be back with you once again. I checked today's date. It is July 29th. What does that mean? That means we are under 1 month officially from kickoff of the 2024 season, which will be the 4th season here for the Touchdown Black and Gold Vlog. No thanks to you and all of your support, your backing, your time, and attention. Thank you very much for making this an overall success. So later this week, I am proud to say you can check out my official 2024 premiere episode for the upcoming season. You definitely don't want to miss that. So please click the notification button, subscribe, like, rate, share, comment. Let's go ahead and gather more momentum and find more college football fans just like you. But today's episode is all about making you and yours some stray cash, homie, just like Randy Moss once prescribed up there in Minnesota. Today's episode is my best bet win totals for certain teams during the 2024 regular season. Now, I've had a great success rate the last 3 seasons doing this, and it's on record. Go back and check those previous episodes, and you will see I have never ever lost one of these best bet win totals that I myself am willing to put a little bit of money down, moolah, dollars, dough, bread, Deutschmarks, pounds, yen, whatever you want to say, all right? I've done pretty well for myself the last 3 seasons, so I feel very confident and comfortable sharing these picks with you. But please, if it does not work out, do not put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. I did not make you do it. I'm just suggesting this is how I'm going to play some of the numbers this season. All right. And once again, please, I want to thank you again for all of your kind words, your following, your support here for the Touchdown Black and Gold Vlog. Because remember, none of this is possible without you. It has been an absolute pleasure the last 3 seasons for me to be here with you, an average Joe sharing my love of all things college football with you. So please, I need your help. Please spread the word about the Touchdown Black and Gold Vlog. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, rate, and especially comment. I want you involved because once again, these episodes are built and driven by you, the college football fan, regardless of team that you favor or represent or cheer for. I want to hear from you. I always ask for and appreciate and welcome your comments. So please comment down below, and I promise I will get back to each and every one of you much sooner than later individually. All right, so let's go ahead and get into today's episode, my best bet win totals for the 2024 college football season. I'm going to give you my top 6. These will be the 6 that I myself will be putting a little bit of money down. And I'm also going to share with you 2 potential wild cards. So these are the 2 that if you feel so inclined, if you kind of agree with my hot takes on this, then by all means, maybe go ahead and bet it. But these are the final 2 I'll share with you. I am going to probably lay off myself. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get it. So my first one that I wanted to share with you, and these go in order by how they have been pegged. by the ladies and gentlemen out in Vegas, as far as from least number of games to maximum. And these overall win totals are reflected on BetMGM on July 28th, just last night. I updated some, but these are fresh, ready to be taken advantage of. Because once again, I want to make you some money. I want to see that wallet get fat, all right? So my first best bet win total is for the Florida Gators. Yes, I never saw this coming. I mean, I know that head coach Billy Napier, his seat is the hottest of hot going into the 2024 college football season, but never did I ever expect Florida to be at 5 games. Never did I think that they would get this low, especially their location in the talent, recruit-rich Sunshine State of Florida. It's really hard to fathom that times have gotten this bad down there in Gainesville and the Swamp. And here's the thing. 5 games sounds like a lot to some of you. If you look at Florida's schedule, it is absolutely daunting. There is no doubt about it. But I believe there's just too much returning talent to completely sleep on the Gators. It's still the land of milk and honey to me down there, especially in South Florida, where the Florida Gators are very highly active. It's just way too much talent and recruitment base there for them to fall beneath this. And a lot of these games are at the Swamp. What I would consider some swing games are games that take place in one of the toughest environments in our sport. So I anticipate that the Gators are going to go over the 5-game win total. Now, that being said, what it makes me even feel better about this is, let's say they do end up with 5 wins, which could happen, but then either way, it's going to be a push. You can't lose on that bet. You'll get your money back. So I'm taking the over for the Florida Gators to eclipse, to find a way to get to 6 wins. I just think that they're due for a bounce back. I don't know if it's going to be enough to save Billy Napier's job down there in Florida, but I do think they'll get to 6 wins. I think they will find a way and pull an upset here or there. I mean, some of these games are at home that I think are swing games. They've got Miami, they got Texas A&M, UCF, and Kentucky. I think they could win the majority of those, and they definitely have a winnable game on the road in Starkville against Mississippi State. Now, the next team I'm going to share with you for my best bet win totals, staying in my home conference, I'm going with the Indiana Hoosiers. Currently, BetMGM has them pegged at 5.5 victories. I'm taking the over on this one, and here's why. I know it's Indiana football. We're not talking about basketball season, but when you look at their non-con schedule, non-conference, they host FIU, FCS Western Illinois, and the powerhouse, that's the Charlotte Miners. They all come to Bloomington. That's going to be 3 victories, so they're already halfway there, all right? And this year, Indiana does not play Penn State, Oregon, and USC in the Big Ten. So there's that usual break from them when they were caught in the murderer's row of the Big Ten East, having to play Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State each and every season. So their schedule is not too bad. And I think the best overall coaching hire in the offseason was done by Indiana, bringing in Curt Cignetti, who brings with him a winning attitude and culture. He had great success at his previous stop at James Madison in the Sun Belt. So I think things are definitely going to start getting a little bit more consistent there at Indiana. I love this over. I would tell you to take this over. So right now, get it. I'm feeling good about it, especially with everything that Coach Cignetti brings with him. I mean, he's got a lot of momentum, and he's stacked the Indiana roster with a lot of his own players who transferred from James Madison to Indiana. So there shouldn't be a lot of turnover a lot of issues building a new attitude or building an identity, learning a new playbook. A lot of pieces are already in place for them to eclipse that 5.5 win total. Take IU with the over. Next team, I'm going to also stay in the Big Ten. One of the newcomers this year to the Big Ten and the Power Four, which that's going to take me a little bit getting used to still. The Power Four, no longer Power Five. I'm going to roll with last year's runner-up, the Washington Huskies. Currently, they're pegged at 6.5 victories via BetMGM. I'm going to roll with the under on this one, guys. I think this one really reflects, like a lot of these do, or along with preseason rankings, hey, we're going to rank or give an over-under win total based on last year's overall success or their failure. And I think this really reflects from last season. I think Washington is really going to struggle their first year in the Big Ten Conference. Yes, they were the national runner-up to Michigan, but they lost so much. Attrition to the NFL draft, transfer departures. It's basically like a brand new roster. And then to make that worse, they lost their head coach, Kalen DeBoer, to Alabama. So enter new head coach Jedd Fisch from Arizona. So it's basically a complete rebuild up there in Seattle at UW. I just think they're really going to struggle. I mean, I love me some quarterback Will Rogers, formerly of Mississippi State. I loved him. I was a big fan of Will when Coach Mike Leach was down there in Starkville. Other than that, I don't know what they have. I think it's going to be a struggle for them even to get to bowl eligibility. So I'm taking the under on this each and every day and twice on Sunday. I mean, here's their schedule right now. They have to travel to Penn State, Oregon, and Iowa, all three of those on the road. And they also host Michigan and USC. It's going to be a tough first year in the Big Ten for Washington. Take the under on that one. Next, number 4. I'm going to go ahead and turn now to the Big 12 Conference, and I'm going to call out the Iowa State Cyclones. Currently, they're pegged at 7.5 victories. I'm taking the over. I mean, you'll find out more about this during my next week. I'm going to have my Crystal Ball Bold Predictions episode. I am very high on Iowa State this season. I mean, they're top 10. Actually, I think they're top 7 in the nation in returning production. I think they are absolutely going to be a legitimate player in the Big 12. Maybe even for the college football playoff. You'll have to watch next week's episode. So I'm taking the over on Iowa State at 7.5. I mean, with all of that returning production, I think this actually could be the best team they've ever had under Coach Matt Campbell, who I think is due for a bounce back year. And I also look at the schedule. Now, the Big 12, I believe it is going to be the deepest, most competitive conference this season. That doesn't mean I think it's going to be the best. Saying best and most competitive and deepest, separate but way different things. I love the Big 12, how it's going to shape up this season, but really the schedule overall is very favorable for the Cyclones of Iowa State. They host Kansas State and Utah. They host Kansas State, who most writers have won. Them or Utah really are pegged as the favorites in the Big 12 Conference. They do host Kansas State. They travel to Utah, but they host West Virginia and Kansas. Non-conference, they do travel to Iowa City to take on our Hawkeyes. Huge game there. Because I think a lot of these teams that are going to be qualifying ultimately for the new expanded 12-team college football playoff, they really have to score a big non-con win. I think that is something you can do to kind of differentiate and separate yourself from somebody who's kind of apples to apples, all right? So a huge game for this year's annual Cy-Hawk Trophy between Iowa and Iowa State. Take Iowa State with the over, guys. Trust me, you're not going to be disappointed. Watch the Cyclones. Number 5, next on my list, I'm staying in the Big 12. I'm looking down south at UCF, Central Florida. The Golden Knights, currently pegged at 7.5. I'm taking the under on this one, guys. I love me some Coach Gus Malzahn. In the offseason, they added athletic quarterback transfer KJ Jefferson from Arkansas, who was really banged up a lot last year. And quite frankly, he didn't really have a lot of help around him on last year's Arkansas squad. But this is their second year at the Power 4 level. Wow, Power 4. The Power 4 level, their second year in the Big 12 after transferring in. I just don't believe UCF has the horses yet to compete at the Power 4 level. They're getting closer, and I definitely think that UCF is a potential sleeping giant because of their location, because of the money that especially can be put into that program via the NIL collectives there in Orlando, Florida. But I think this year they are not going to get to 8 wins. I feel very, very comfortable going under this number, especially their schedule. They are at Florida, at Iowa State, at West Virginia, and at TCU. Ouch. But they do host Utah and Colorado. So it's going to be an absolute struggle for UCF to not only get to bowl eligibility, but absolutely and get above that 7.5. I mean, take the under, guys. Trust me, you're going to be happy if you do. Now, the 6th and final team that I will be betting on before I give you my 2 wild card best bet win totals, I got to call out my own squad. The Iowa Hawkeyes, right now they are pegged at BetMGM a solid 8 wins, 8 games, all right? And if you know your history, what does Iowa football do year in and year out? They win 7 to 8 games a year. They just do. I mean, a couple weeks ago, this was at 7.5, so I would have felt better going with the over then, but I still believe this team is going to get to 8 wins, if not more. When you look at all of the returning production that Iowa has, plus a schedule that is very, very soft to what it could be in the new and improved Big Ten, that they're going to get to 8 wins at least. So worst case scenario, you get another push, just like what I shared with you with Florida. If they get to 5 wins, you're going to get your money back. It's a safe bet. Take it. Last year, Iowa won 10 games in the regular season. Should have won 11 because it was not a fair catch, by the way. And that was with the worst offense, not just in the Power 4, but in the entire nation. All right? And Iowa's offense will be much improved this season, even if quarterback Hayden McNamara goes down. When you look at the other options they have behind him, with transfer quarterback Brandon Sullivan from Northwestern, and then Marco Lyonez, and they have a new offensive coordinator. And plus, there's only one way to go when you're at the absolute bottom. You got to go up, okay? And Deacon Hill is no longer on Iowa's roster. So that being said, it's an improvement. All right, so take Iowa, the over 8. You're going to be happy if you did. All right? So those are the 6 games that I will be playing. Now, these are next 2, and this is why they're wild cards. I usually like to stay away from higher over-under win total numbers. I just do unless I feel really, really comfortable about it. And these 2 are a little bit higher numbers, and I definitely think I have a good read on them, but I'm not putting any money down. But like I said, if you are so inclined, go ahead and roll with it. I think you'll end up being happy. First, out of the ACC, the Clemson Tigers. Currently, they are pegged at 9.5 wins. If I were betting this one, I would take the under, and here's why. They do return plenty of offense down there at Clemson. They do, but I think just Coach Dabo Swinney's lack of utilizing the transfer portal just to have, safety in numbers because you're going to lose players for injury, getting just wore down. This is something that Dabo Swinney continues not to utilize, is that transfer portal. And the last couple seasons, they've underperformed there at Clemson. Now, no disrespect to Clemson and its fans who are watching. They're still a top 20, top 15 program. But getting to 10 wins this season, I just don't feel good about it. Plus, my spidey senses are kind of up on them. I think they're due to have a solid season, but maybe just a little bit of an underwhelming season within the ACC. Opening game, they start off playing Georgia on a neutral site. They have to travel to Florida State, a team that beat them last year in one of the best games of the season, the overtime thriller up there at Clemson. They also traveled to Virginia Tech, who I think will be much improved. They really came on strong at the end of last season. And they host a really good NC State team that's kind of flying under the radar. Louisville and their arch rival, South Carolina, the Gamecocks, last game of the season. So if I were rolling with Clemson, I'd be taking the under 9.5. That's just me. Now, my last wild card best bet I will share with you that I do feel good about, but not good enough to pull the trigger. I'm going to go back to the Big 12 conference. The Kansas State Jayhawks, really one of the two favorites to win the conference. They're currently pegged at 9.5 victories. I would have to go with the under on this, all right? No offense, I love me some Coach Kleiman, and the fear of the purple of the Kansas State the Kansas State Wildcats, especially because of the former Iowa connection with former Coach Snyder, O.C. Snyder, back with Hayden Fry's roster at Iowa during its glory seasons. But I just think there's so much uncertainty along their line of scrimmage this season, especially the offensive line. You know, they're giving their reins to a new quarterback. They moved on from Will Howard, who transferred into Ohio State in the offseason. I just think lack of depth in the Big 12 will be too much for them to get to 10 wins. I do believe they'll be one of the teams in the running to get to the Big 12 title game. And quite frankly, I think there's 5 teams that we could see end up there, but I just do not see them getting to 10 wins in the regular season. I do not. And once again, all of these over-under win totals represent just in the regular season. No bowl games added to it. And their schedule, they're on the road at West Virginia, who I think will be sneaky good in the Big 12. They go to Colorado, which I don't think Colorado's going to be one of the 5 that can make the title game. Coach Prime, still got some work to do. They also travel to Iowa State, who I already told you to bet the over. I'm all about the Cyclones. And they host Oklahoma State, another team I think that could be in the running. And also their arch rival, the Kansas Jayhawks, and Jalen Daniels, who hopefully can stay healthy this entire season, the stud quarterback there at Kansas. So that's it, guys. That is my episode for today, my best bet win totals. And as always, thank you very much for your time, your attention, your support. And please, once again, get involved. I cannot wait to hear from you. If you have a comment, anything you want to share based on this episode, please light up the section below. Or if you just want to ask any random question, just want to chit-chat about college football in general or anything, please. I always ask for, appreciate, and want and welcome your comments. So please get involved. Like, share, subscribe. You definitely don't want to miss my season premiere episode later this week. So to be notified of that, you got to click that notification button. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. It's great to be back with you, and I am ready for some football. Until later this week, have a good one. Stay safe. Be proud. Go black and gold. See you then. Bye-bye.